So I want to explain to you something that I hear a lot, that it's dead, and that's the phone. The phone is not dead. You know, should you make cold calls or not make cold calls? Look, if you are starting any kind of business, chances are you're going to make cold calls. You know, I see all these online marketers and everything and buying ads and things like that. You know, that's great, but I would imagine that most people, when you start out and you're doing grassroots, you're going to have to knock on some doors. You're going to have to pick up the phone. So the phone is as alive as it's ever been. Matter of fact, people carry their phone on their side 24/7. So your ability to connect with people on the phone is paramount to your success. So a lot of times I go out and I train in the corporate world, and I train internal salespeople, and they want to fight not making calls. And because, you know what, it's a thankless job. They think, oh, I'm making 40 or 50 calls and, you know, nobody's picking up the phone, therefore it's not working. That's not true. It's called cold calling. A few years ago, when I was testing some things and trying to build out some scripts for one of my sales funnels, I made 200 sales calls a day, and during that period I probably made about 4,000 cold calls. And when I was making 200 cold calls, guess how many people I was getting on the phone? I was only getting about 12 people on the phone. But here's the thing. I was able to advance 8 out of 12 of those people to the next step. Now, the other guy that was calling with me, he could only get to about 4 to 6 of them advanced to the next step. So the phone's not dead. Sales is still a numbers game any way you slice it. So you got your numbers, and then you have to convert them. The better you are, the more you can convert. Whether you're doing online marketing, or if you're doing cold calling, or if you're sending out direct mail pieces, whatever you're doing, you know, it's a numbers game, and then it's a quality game. So are you sending out the right amount of advertisements? Are you calling the right amount of people? And do you have the quality of the phone call behind that? So in our business, I tell people, look, we're going to make 16,000 phone calls this year. And guess what? You're going to think they're not working. But that's not the point. If we can just sell another, say, 16 of them, another 10 of them, and you multiply that by our average sale, we do very well. And so, yeah, you got to sift and you got to pan for gold. You got to get all the other granules out of there, so you have to make the phone calls. So it's about being persistent and understanding that the more persistent you are, the more success you're going to have on the back end. And while you're persistent, you have to be better and have a quality conversation. So really it boils down to the phone's not dead. It's still a very persistent and hardworking game, but you also have to be great at communicating and advancing people. So stick to it, be persistent, the phone's not dead. Use the technology out there to help you make more calls more efficiently, eliminate call reluctance, and be persistent.